Happy finally Friday. After splitting 4 games in New York, the Mariners are in Washington to face the Nationals in the first of a 3-game set today. Seattle dropped the finale of that series to the Yankees yesterday, managing just 3 hits in a 5-0 decision. George Kirby on the mound this afternoon. That game on right now on Root Sports Northwest. Well, despite yesterday's loss, Seattle remains 3 games in front of Texas in the American League West. Rangers were swept by Philadelphia yesterday, falling 5-2. Houston was idle and is 4.5 games back. Oakland and L.A. are tied for last after the A's beat Colorado in 11 innings, 10-9. Organized team activities, or OTAs, continue for the Seahawks in Renton. Challenge facing old and new players alike is the installation of brand new offense and a brand new defense with a change in the coaching staffs. Quarterback Geno Smith says it's a challenge, but one he's glad to accept.
Yeah, just more learning, a little bit more studying. Obviously, a new system, new coordinator, new everything. We're changing the guard here, and so for me, just studying and getting with the guys. A lot of extra meetings with the receivers, running backs, O-line, talking through some things, making sure that we're prepared when we get out here for practice. And so far it's been good. It's just a matter of repetition. Because it's all new, fairly new to all of us. I think Jack's the only guy, Jack Westover, he was already in this system. But for the most part, everyone's learning a new system, and we're all pretty much starting at the same spot. And so, like, for us, just talking about things that we may not understand with the coaches, or gaining some clarity if we need it, whether that's from me or, from one of the coaches. And that's something that we're just continuing to work on together, just kind of learning this thing, and then obviously wanting to get out here on the practice field, execute, and then be able to coach off of that.
Coach Mike McDonald comes to Seattle after coaching defense in Baltimore with the Ravens. Newly acquired safety Rayshon Jenkins says he's loving the scheme being presented by the staff.
Oh, the defense is really creative. It's a lot of thinking, but, we're professionals, so, that just comes with the game. But it'll be, I think, challenging for opposing offenses to kind of figure out what we're in. If you go back and watch just like the Baltimore film and everything like that, you'll see how difficult it was for any quarterback in the league to kind of get anything on them. Every play, every movement on the offense, every shift, every motion, something has to be communicated. We're never just sitting back in one defense. So it's really creative, really fun defense, but you got to be on the details.
Seattle's preseason schedule was released this week. It includes 3 games in August, starting with a trip to L.A. to face the Chargers in the 10th. They'll visit the Titans and finish with the Browns before beginning the regular season September 8th against the Broncos. While the NHL nears the Stanley Cup playoffs and the Western Hockey League celebrates Moose Jaw winning the Memorial Cup, Wenatchee Wild are preparing for next season. Wenatchee chose 13 players in the recent WHL draft. Assistant GM and Associate Head Coach Chris Clark joined Dan Kuntz on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, saying the scouting staff did a great job teeing up this draft.
Liz and Lee have spent, and along with 5 other regional scouts throughout British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. They've been out all year while we've been playing. They've been out in different events watching this particular age group and putting lists together and having meetings. And then when you get, about a week to 2 weeks before the draft, you start to compile a list of, your top, however many it was, let's say 250. I don't know the exact number, but. And they've been writing reports on these kids since back in September, and so then you get that list together, and then you kind of have an understanding. And I got to give these guys credit. I was lucky. One benefit from losing early was that I got to go to a couple events late, one in Alberta and one in BC. And to see the work that our scouts had done was incredible. You rate your kids and where you see them, and then they give me the packet as we're watching the kids, and I can see how they have all these kids rated, and they were dead on all these kids. And
of the 13 selections, 5 were on the defensive side of the rink. The Wild are busily preparing for their second season in the Western Hockey League. It was by the way, short stay for Kashmir at the State 1A softball tournament. The Bulldogs fell to Seton Catholic 10-0 yesterday, and Richland had its season come to an end. Other softball, Eastmont had a game this morning in the State 4A tournament in Richland, falling to Jackson 5-1. The Wildcats were to play Glacier Peak in an afternoon loser-out game. Moses Lake also dropped to the consolation bracket after a 17-0 loss to Emerald Ridge. This morning, the Mavericks were facing Puyallup in a loser-out game this afternoon. Tumwater shut out Ephrata in the first round of the state 2A tournament, 14-0 this morning in Selah. Next up for the Tigers was to be an Enumclaw matchup this afternoon. Othello was facing Olympic this morning and would play either Kingston or Cedar Woolley later on in the day. Yakima is the site for the state 2B softball tournament. Lake Roosevelt defeated Liberty Spangle 3-1 in a loser-out game this morning. Okanagan was facing Toledo this afternoon. Elmira Cooley Heartline's baseball team is in the Final Four of the state 1B tournament in Ephrata. The Warriors are facing Nacelle this afternoon in the semifinals. Win and they'll play either DeSales or Liberty Christian in the championship tomorrow night at 7. Lose, they'll play for 3rd or 4th tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. Well, the Cascade boys soccer team has just 1 loss and 1 tie on the season. Hopes to win 2 more matches this weekend. The Kodiaks are in Renton to play Overlake in the semifinals of the state 1A tournament tonight at 7. Win and they'll play for the state title tomorrow night at 6 after the winner between Royal and Vashon Island. Lose and they'll play for 3rd or 4th at 1:15. Well, the spring sports season culminates with other state championships as well coming up this weekend. State track and field championships are being held in Tacoma and Yakima. Best of the state in 2A, 3A, and 4A are at Mount Tahoma High School today and tomorrow. The 1B, 2B, 1A championships being held at Zeffel Stadium in Yakima. Also, the state tennis championships are being served up in Kennewick, Seattle, and Yakima today and tomorrow. The 4A tournament is in Tri-Cities. The 2A tournament being held at the Nordstrom Center in Seattle. 1B, 2B, 1A tournaments are being held in Yakima. Have a great weekend. Don't forget, take time out and remember those who gave so much so that we might be free on this Memorial holiday. We will see you again on Tuesday.